The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audience. Viewer discretion advised.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Be Kind Rewind podcast. I am your host, the Big Llama. From the Big Llama Show, you can watch me exclusively on YouTube for the Big Llama Show First Time Movie Reactions. I also do a Sunday night live stream on Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a live stream with my co-host BLKOUT AD. We talk about the pop culture, gaming, UFC fighting, anything that comes to mind. We do that every Sunday. So if you want to join us on YouTube. But we're here for the Be Kind Rewind podcast, and today we are going to be talking about The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, the 2006 movie directed by Justin Lin. But you guys don't want to hear me wax poetic by myself about this, so I brought an expert in, my co-host from the Sunday Night Live stream, BLKOUT AD. Welcome to the Be Kind Rewind podcast, my friend. How you doing tonight?
What's up, Llama? Thanks for having me on the new platform.
No problem, man. No problem. I know that this movie is near and dear to your heart. You've talked about it passionately on the live stream, and so what a perfect opportunity to get you in. Just talking about this movie. Now, for everyone watching and for those of you listening on the podcast, we will do the other Fast and Furious series. We're gonna cover those movies in depth. But tonight, because it is AD's first time on the show, we want to make sure we cover one of his favorite movies. So again, the 2006, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. So we're excited. Ground rules for the podcast. This is an adult podcast. Make sure that you guys do not listening, right? Yeah, actually, that you have an adult beverage with you. Make sure you toast anytime you can.
Is that water, dude? You playing me right now?
No, I'm not playing you. It is actually
what's this
giant
drink
thing
champ?
of vodka. No. It's actually alcohol in there. So
trying to get me sauced up. Get the content out of me drinking water. Crazy.
For sure. No. I again, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but let's just say it has a hint of something in it, and it has seltzer. So so we're doing it right. We're doing it right for the podcast.
Cheers, brother. I'm excited. Cheers. I can smoke on the Big Llama Show. Finally.
For sure, man. For sure. Smoke them if you got them. Drink what you need to.
After 80 episodes of hard labor, you finally let me do it.
Well, again, this is an adult podcast. So again, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to warn you right now, you're going to hear colorful language. And as we've said in the last 3 podcasts, put those fucking kids to bed. It's time to talk.
Put them to fucking sleep.
That's it. Put them to sleep. It's time for the Be Kind Rewind podcast. All right. Tokyo Drift from the Fast and the Furious franchise, man. I know this is near to your heart, but tell me before we watch the trailer, we're gonna play the trailer for you guys.
Yeah, I've actually never seen the trailer, so I'm excited, and I didn't watch it on purpose because I knew you were gonna show it.
Oh, so we'll react to it live, and we'll talk about it right after. But tell me before we start the trailer, just give me like a couple of blurbs. What is it about this movie that makes it one of your favorites?
The Japanese women, Llama. If anybody who knows me knows, I have an affinity for Japanese women. Now, seriously though, it's always been one of my favorite movies. The first 3 Fast and the Furious movies are some of my favorite in all of film. Like, because I grew up with my stepdad paints cars, and like it was like super into, like, I mean, he still does it on his like his side gig where he's just like fixing and renovating cars, doing a bunch of stuff. So I've always been around cars, and that was like our way of bonding. So the Fast and the Furious movies were like a way where me and him can actually like connect on something, because we didn't really he didn't like baseball, and that was like my thing growing up, and I was super into that. So that was like our way to connect. So for me, the first 2 were iconic. And then when this came out, I remember the day that I watched it, we went to my stepdad's brother's house, and it was like a family event. They cooked, and that's back in the day when you used to actually rent movies. So shout out to the logo. But shout out Blockbuster. They're actually dropping a side note. They're actually dropping a show about like one of the last Blockbusters. Looks hilarious.
I can't wait to watch that too.
Me either. But it was like one of those family nights where like, you know, we're all getting together at somebody's house. We're going to eat. We rented the movie. We brought the movie. And I just remember when it started, I don't know why. Like, I remember that whole night, like the first time I watched the movie, it was like the way it like embodied like actual street racing culture. Cause that's to me what the Fast and Furious lost in the like after 5, even before, like probably like the end of 4 kind of started losing its way. But this movie in particular really showcases the tuner culture in Japan. And I think that's like a huge thing when it comes to like the car scene. I mean, of course you got the American Muscle and like Vin Diesel's characters. Dom is mostly known for having like nice American Muscle cars. And then you got Brian, who's mostly in the tuner side. But this was just straight tuners. And then, you know, obviously the main character brings in the American Muscle twist at the end. But to me, it was just like the colors, the music, the energy, like in the race tunnels that they were racing in, or what do you call those? The parking garages? Like,
yeah.
Like how they had all the cars set up, like if it was like an event, you know, because I've been to many tuner events where it's just like a bunch of nice cars lined up. You got people playing. It just felt like events that I went to, and I was like, wow, they really captured it. Now, obviously, people kind of shit on this movie as like, especially when it came out, like they were like, oh, we don't have Vin Diesel, we don't got Paul Walker. Like, what is this? What are they trying to do? Little did they know what the Fast and the Furious franchise would be. But
exactly,
I mean, honestly, when you think about it, what the franchise became, they had some valid critiques on like where the direction was going. But this movie, I think, in hindsight, and obviously I loved it, but just as like a movie critic, you're kind of like, it actually embodied what the first couple Fast and the Furious were. Yeah, it's different cast, but the storyline was good. It was concise to me, at least. The races, like the race scenes, were some of the best in the to me when it comes strictly to racing. Because you know they got the big action pieces now, but when it comes strictly to racing, the addition of drifting into the Fast and the Furious like legacy is kind of fire. Like the way they were, you had to navigate because you can't just street race. Like, you know, in Florida, you could just find a dirt road and everybody just pull up and race.
Right. You can take the straightaway and you're good.
Yep. And there they showcase like why they drift, and like I don't know. To me, it just made a lot of sense. So I'm super excited to, as you can tell, get into this.
No, listen, and that's what I'm talking about. Like you really love this movie, and it's a movie you're passionate about. So I'm excited to talk to you about it and really break down the movie and talk about the different parts. For me, just to give you like my thought process on it as I watched the series, I thought that obviously Fast and Furious 1, the original classic, introduced everyone to that street racing culture, and it had a lot of that emphasis in it. I think Too Fast, Too Furious, just as a comparison, was the one that kind of started to go a little bit off the rails in terms of like a larger story, the police angle, stuff like that. But it still had the street racing elements. You still had the great cars. This one honestly brought it back to, back to, at least in my opinion, to the cars themselves being a character in the movie and having importance and significance. So you're dealing around the car. So it was a lot of fun to watch and rewatch. And I've watched it a couple times over. So, but let's get to the trailer. Let's watch the trailer for again, you haven't watched the trailer. Let's watch the trailer. Let's rekindle those memories and see if we can't see what we missed in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Here we go.
Here we got the classic booms.
Yep.
Ready. Set up.
Go! It's called drifting.
What do you mean, drift?
The cars are lighter. The tires are slicked. When you drift, if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control.
That's actually not in the movie.
No, it's
Still
not.
need a dictionary?
On the other side of the world.
Oh, I miss this trailer.
Side of the law.
Yeah, with the voiceover
of racing rules the Tokyo underground.
How you guys get away with this?
And all the best drivers want in.
Who's a tourist?
Let's see what the kids got.
Then let's race.
But when you live on the edge, anything can happen.
You came to the wrong place.
Now, in a place
She was my childhood crush for sure.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Not
of
even
money.
Japanese,
You're
which is
moving up in
crazy.
the world. You gotta elevate your company.
The bigger the risk, the greater the rush.
Stay away from them. All my life, people have told me I don't fit in.
He didn't fit in
Maybe
this
I've
movie.
just been in the wrong place.
Speed needs. No translation.
Yeah, this is a good trailer.
It's a great trailer.
Yeah, it's getting me hype. I feel like I'm gonna watch it.
Life's simple. Make choices. Don't look back.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, that was a good trailer.
It's a great trailer, and it gets you hype. And I miss trailers like this to just kind of explain the movie a little bit for you, and you just get you going. I mean, it's. I'm ready to watch the movie. After seeing that trailer, I'm ready to watch the movie, and I'm excited. So, this is directed by Justin Lin. I don't know if this is his first directorial debut, but he was still young in the game, I think, around this time. But Justin Lin's gone on to do some big projects. I think he did Aquaman, didn't he? I think he did Aquaman. He did a Star Trek movie. He did one of the Star Trek of the three from the Kelvin timeline. So he did a lot after this. And what was great, because I did rewatch it a little bit before our podcast, is I saw the elements that I saw in the other movies. I saw it in this movie. I saw the over the head cam that he likes to do in the chase sequence in the first race. He loves the shaky cam in landings. But again, he puts you in the driver's seat. He puts you in different perspectives in the movie for the race sequences. So I thoroughly enjoyed his. And again, I didn't know it was him at the time when we watched this movie, but damn. He put a stamp on it for sure, and you can tell it's his movie. So,
I think the filming of it, like you said, like it really lent to the drifting. Like when there was drift scenes, like you felt like what they were going through in the car, and I thought that was like super important to the movie itself. Because if it would have just been like they told us they're drifting, and it almost feels like drifting's a character in the movie, And
yeah.
I feel like if they just told us they were drifting and then we just see, like overviews of it and we're not in the car, we're not experiencing the first time Sean is actually drifting, because I think that's like a massive point. Like that's bringing the audience, like this is what drifting is and this is why that guy's that good. I just watched the scene before we got into the call, but just the first racing itself. And I was like, that was like the perfect way to set DK as like an elite drifter and show like, yeah, Sean was good, like just street racing, through the broken houses and stuff. He could handle it, but this is a new culture that he's got to, learn and stuff. So like, it gives you that kind of gap. And plus, like, just him, that fish out of water story where like he gets to Japan and actually has to like adapt to their culture and like how shit's run over there. Like, I don't know. I think that's why I like. I think Tokyo plays a big part. Obviously, it's Tokyo Drift, but I think it plays a big part in terms of like the feeling, like, you know what I mean? Like you don't feel like you're in the United States. Like obviously you're not, but it I don't know. It just gives a different feeling. Like I said, tuner cars are I mean, like Japanese cars and like foreign cars are a big thing in car culture. So it's like to actually experience what they feel out there when they're doing it, because like even after this movie, I did a lot of research on like what, like if drifting was an actual thing out there. You'll see like old like 80s pics of them drifting in the mountains. It's like that shit's entrenched in their culture. So I think they did a good way of showcasing it. Like it felt like it was like legacy stuff going on there.
Yeah, I mean the drifting sequence. I think Justin does one scene that pays respect to the first one, which is I think he punches it and it goes through the windshield and through the back end of the car. That whole travel through the car sequence. But after that, it's his thing. The sequences with DK are amazing, and I'm assuming not a lot of CGI in those scenes. It seems to be a lot of practical effects and cars. But yeah, those drifting scenes that you're you're in the moment with that scene.
Yeah.
And so in all of the scenes, and I always wanted to learn how to drift, but obviously I don't have cars that are capable of the actual drifting. But it's one of those things like you see something in the movie that inspires you and you go, you know what, I want that, or I want that type of car. I remember the first Fast and Furious came out, I wanted to soup up my car at that point. And I've always wanted to soup up my cars, never had the money to do it. But after that, it was like, damn, you got to have your car souped up. You got to have at least some rims or something on your car.
Yeah.
So,
right, to me, that, my bad. Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say that to me, like, I've like, thankfully, because of my stepdad, I was one of the people that, like, I had Hondas with like rims on it lowered. Like, people like distinctly knew what my cars looked like because like I had a teal like hatchback. Like, people knew, like, oh. Like, you'll hear like people telling my like dad, like, oh, I seen your son, driving through or whatever. So like you said, like it just represents it well. And I think, to me, if they continue the Fast franchise, which obviously they're at 10, if they ever reboot or anything, I want them to go back straight to the car culture, because even now it's like it's bigger than it was before. So it's like you can do a lot of cool things with these like car stories, And just being in the culture, like going to actual street races and seeing like the excitement of people like watching a race. Like, I've never seen nobody drift in a race, so I can imagine how that feels. But just actual races, you get the adrenaline going. But I also think they did good with like the track listing. Like, it could have been like corny songs they picked in these scenes, but like even in the trailer, you could tell like they picked the NERD song, Pharrell, to end the trailer. But it just felt really good. Like, it felt with the movie. Like, it was like upbeat, techno-ish a little bit, but it didn't feel corny for like the scenes. Like, it really like feels like you're in the garage with them.
Yeah,
and somebody's just blasting that song and they're racing.
Yeah, they started the movie with Kid Rock, and again, you're in you're in America, you're in the American setting. Why not do some Kid Rock? And then when they get to Japan, it is some Japanese music, some Japanese techno, some hip hop mixed in there. The soundtrack was awesome. Like, that's one thing that Justin Lin does really well, and he's done it in other movies where he incorporates the soundtrack or a song, much like Scorsese and these other guys when they pick a song and it's part of the movie. But yeah, no, it's definitely a time capsule. Like, if you were listening to the album now, there's a couple of songs that get you hyped, but like some of you are like, ooh, that's old. But
I don't know. Well, maybe for you, but like for me, that's like prime, like me downloading hip hop. Like, that's another thing it did well, and you made me think about it. But like, hip hop culture in Japan is huge as well. So they encapsulated that. It's not just like, you can see like the hip hop influence in like what they're doing there, the music they're listening to, the stuff that they're like. I think even like Bow Wow's character like selling Jordans and stuff, So it's like you could see like the hints of hip hop in there. So I think the soundtrack for me though, those were songs that like I was like first downloading MP3s on a little MP3 player, and like I was getting like the Jules Santana song from this movie, or like even the NERD. Like, I was like, oh, what is this? Let me download it. And obviously, the greatest song from this, the Tokyo Drift theme song, which everybody knows. That song crossed over. I mean, I think Big Homie's mom had it as a ringtone for years at one point. That song's so catchy.
I mean, it put like, the thing is, what I've found is that at the moment, right, when something comes out, at that moment in time, maybe we don't appreciate it for what it is. And I think Tokyo Drift is one of those movies that I think, because it had that negative impact of, hey, no Paul Walker, no Vin Diesel, and you had like a Paul Walker-esque type guy in Lucas Black, to play the main character, you get some backlash. And you think, oh, even the second movie got backlash because Vin Diesel wasn't a part of that movie. So it could have gone off the rails, but I think at the time it wasn't critically acclaimed. I don't know. I think it made money, but it didn't do what they thought it was going to do. But now in later viewings, and now appreciating it later, many years later, it's a really good movie. It's a fun movie. It serves its purpose, but it highlights that culture so well. And that's what I think we didn't appreciate, or at least I know the critics at the time when I was, because I've been reading some reviews, did not appreciate it, and that's okay. I mean, but that's what's happened with a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s things, is that we would shit on them for a little while, and then bring it back. Again, the only example I can think of is, for me, is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, which came out in '99, and again, universally loved at first because it was a Star Wars movie after 30 years, but like quickly panned and people hated it and they were doing roasts and whatnot. Fast forward 20 years later, people love that movie. They revere it now. It holds up. It's the same thing with this. Is like at the time it came out, I don't think people appreciated it. Critics didn't, but now when I watch it in future viewings, it makes sense now, and it's part of the fabric of the franchise. So that's.
Now, do you think that's because like they built a bigger Fast and Furious world, and we have like people die, come back, leave for a couple movies, come back? So now, I mean, even like Han becomes a character later on in the series. You know what I mean? They don't really bring too many other people. I think they bring Lucas Black in, which is the main guy once, but other than that, like Han becomes like a staple. And like, do you think that's why they kind of revere a little bit better now? Like, it makes sense in like the grand scheme of like Fast and Furious. Because to me, I think they were just hating because, like we said, they weren't coming back, and it was quote unquote so different. But when you really think about it from what it is, a car movie, it makes a lot of sense. So I think they were looking at it as like the progression of like the Fast and Furious story. Like, I mean, that's another thing. Like, they didn't make all these movies because people weren't invested. Like, people got invested to like these characters pretty early on, and like loved the movie. Like, to me, like the Fast and Furious is like a cult classic, like the original Fast and Furious, like cult classic. People like really go hard for that movie, and I think that's why this series is getting so elongated. But to me, maybe it has to do with that. Like, if you ask me, like it has to do with like the Fast and Furious having a universe now. And it's like, all right, we can accept this for what it is.
Well, I would tell you that for me, because Fast and Furious got too ridiculous for me. And again, I still enjoy the movies. I'm not saying I don't enjoy them, but it got so away from what it was supposed to be that looking back at this movie, it brought it back to the street racing. It had the heart of the first one, of why you love the first one, which is the cars are a character. They are a part of this movie, and they're featured prominently. Where in future installments, yes, they have nice cars, but they're blowing up half of them, right? And they're doing all kinds of crazy shit. So this one, honestly, the nostalgia I have for it is because it just made sense the way that they did the movie. And again, it brings me back to what originally got my love for Fast and Furious, which was, the story of the cars and how the culture and learning and building the cars. Like, there's all this stuff in it that was, the montage where they build the car together and put it,
together.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. And then he learns how to drift. I mean, all those things are the things that I loved in the movie. So yeah. I mean, I honestly think it's not that it's such a huge franchise now. I just think it's a simpler time of the franchise. And I think I appreciate that more. So, let's look at the cast list real quick. I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to show you this right here. Showing a picture of Clay, and I want to bring up Clay only because this guy is Zachary Ty Bryan. He was big around this time from Home Improvement, and he was one of the up and coming guys. And honestly, why they gave him second billing to Lucas Black on this movie, I have no idea. So, like, if you look at the IMDb page, his name is prominently featured. He's only in the movie for 5 minutes. So he still gets that billing now, which irritates me when I see that. Like, if he was a big star and he did a big thing, that'd be great. But I didn't really like him. But the movie kind of starts off here. It starts off with Lucas Black's character, Sean Boswell. He's in high school. Now, he's always seems out of place. And that's what I think the appeal of the actor Lucas Black is, that even in America, he seemed out of place. He seemed out of touch a little bit, and he wasn't part of the in crowd. So he starts off.
He was at a rich school, and like clearly they didn't have that much money. So like that's how they did it. But it like I mean this character he's using his dad's whip, you know what I mean? And like even after the race, like when they're in the police station, like they get with the slap on the wrist, and then he has to like move across the country. But he's also kind of notoriously getting in trouble, and like I'm sure street racing, like they kind of hint at a backstory where he's been doing this for a long time already.
Yeah. He's been in trouble, and he's been in and out of the law, and that's all part of it. But
his mom definitely diddled that cop, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, like when you watch it back, you're like, she definitely fucked him.
Yeah, that's how you got out of jail, my friend. Your mom
gave you could just go across the pond. It's all good.
Yeah, just get your ass out of here. I got to enjoy my time with the cop. But so then again, it sets up who who Sean is, and breaks down, shows that he's got racing chops and he's got nerves of steel. And let's see, and he gets into trouble, right? He's trying to win the affections. He drives through a damn house. But this was the best part in this movie is when he's beating the guy who has this $100,000 car, and what was he driving? Was it like a Charger or something, or old? I don't know what it was.
I thought I saw
Monte Carlo. He's driving an old Monte Carlo, and he is just letting this guy have it for sure. But then the guy's wrecking his $100,000 car against this shitty ass Monte Carlo.
Yeah,
and
I mean the kid is probably a quarterback. You know what I mean? Doesn't like losing. Rich, like it fits the character.
He was the typical bully / popular kid in every fucking movie that they put together. Blonde haired guy, had the cheerleader girlfriend, which again is so cliche, but it fit. It fit. Like I was gonna say, it's so 80s. That's like an 80s throwback. Like every bully was a blonde haired guy, and he had a fine girlfriend, and there was always that one guy who didn't fit in, and he tried to move in on this girl.
Somehow the girl liked him. She's like, oh, look at him, he's so different. Like Karate Kid.
Oh my god. But in watching this again, the cheerleader girl, I would have fucking dumped her. I would have dumped her right then and there. I would have pulled over and said, get your ass out of the fucking car. Like, oh, I guess you don't love me. Like, fuck you. Like, get out of my car.
And he took it. He was like, oh, that's why he started hitting him. Literally, that's why he started hitting him. That's crazy.
Like, I thought they died. Like, the way they hit that whatever it was that they hit, like, I think they hit like a side of a house or some shit. Like, split the car.
They were driving through houses. They were going crazy.
Yeah, no, they were in a construction zone.
Now I think about it, they really caused a lot of damage.
They did. They did.
Up and coming, like they set the renovation at least like 6 months back.
I mean, who paid for that shit? Who had the insurance? No, but that's what I'm saying. Like in that sequence, it was great. It was fun, but then like horrifically, the quarterback and his girlfriend fucking ate it. Like they fucking. The airbags deployed. It looked like she flipped out of the car. Like it was bad. Yeah. So I was like, damn, she died. Like that's when I first saw the movie, I'm like, fuck, he just killed those two guys. He just killed the girl.
That would actually been fire.
They got killed?
Yeah. It would have made a lot more sense why the mom slept with the police officer.
Why you have to flee the country? You killed two kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's in the Fast and the Furious nature, But I think one of the funniest scenes is when they're in the police station and the dude and the girl are sitting like across from him, and he turns to them and just smiles, and you just see the bloody teeth. I thought that was like a great addition because it was just like, bro, they just wrecked a whole renovation. Not renovation. I keep saying renovation, but they wrecked a bunch of houses, crashed, and now they're just sitting across, like, just for what? So his girlfriend could go on a date with the guy? That's crazy. I would even be sitting next to her, bro. Get away from me.
I mean, this okay, this is what it is. And you guys on the podcast, you can't see it, but it's those big round circular pipes that they put underground underneath the houses. That's what they ran into. They ran into the freaking middle of that shit and split the car. I mean, split the car.
Then he rolls down the hill.
And yeah, he can't stop his car and he goes rolling down the hill, which his car took some damage, but what was cool, and I think again, it's a Justin Lin thing. He gets you inside the vehicle when Sean is rolling.
And it kind of slows down a little bit, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
like a little bit. And like things are like falling down and stuff. Yeah,
you're in it with him, and it was like that's horrific. And like again, I'm glad he had a seatbelt on, and but I honestly thought those other two were dead. I was like, shit. But they were okay. They were at the police station.
Yeah, they got grounded for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. They got a slap on
the
wrist.
They got a brand expensive car.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like you go directly to the police station.
Oh, this is
all of
right here.
Yeah, all of them look like they're fine. The girl is mad.
Yeah, she's upset. She caused this though.
The boyfriend, right?
She did.
Oh yeah, because she was
like, you can race for me or something like that. Like what? You just offered yourself up?
I thought you loved me. I thought you loved me.
That's crazy.
Oh, and the best line for her was, "I guess I got a new date to prom." that's when I said, "Get your bitch ass out of my car."
Yeah.
Take him.
He looked like he was gonna snuff her low key. His face like got really red. I was like, "Don't hit her, please."
Yeah, he wanted to throw a couple of bows.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So again, Sean's Lucas's character, Sean, is now he's in trouble. The police officer tells him for sure, look, you're not gonna get away with this. He's stuck
at all.
Yeah, and you just better just leave town. So what does he do?
He heads over. Steps in.
Yep. Well, yeah, the mom steps in and has a little action,
a little chat.
Hi, how you doing?
Can I light my cigarette in here? I gotta do it. That's it. I remember when I first seen it, I didn't understand. I was like, "What's going on?" She's a really nice lady. And then rewatching it when I was older, I was like, "Oh, I get it." But yeah, and then he gets to Tokyo. Then we meet his pops, which he's a veteran. They really don't delve too much into the pops.
Yeah, well, I think
G's like there just enough to give him a car at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he's the dad is I think he's a Navy guy. I think he's stationed in near Tokyo. So he's there living his life and but there's a private academy that he can go to, and so they sign him up, and there he meets Lil Bow Wow. Or Bow Wow, as he likes to be called nowadays. But it was a complete fish out of water story for him. And this is, again, a typical movie trope. You bring the guy to a new location, but it gives you the opportunity to explore and to show it from his perspective, learning the culture. So there's a whole sequence where he doesn't take off his shoes in the classroom, and he gets, rated by the... What's it? How you say it?
He said, "Wow, wow, key." Don't you mean my wow, wow, key?
Wow, 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 key. Like his accent, dude, and his pronunciation of the English language is terrible.
It's hilarious. It's so like, who told them that? Like, yeah, that was good. Say it again, just like that.
Yeah, keep that southern drawl when you say it, my rod. But yeah, no, he was just completely out of place. But it was good. It was good to see. Now they do meet in that first classroom scene. I think her name is what, Neela? Is that her name in the?
Yeah, I think so.
Fine. But this was your crush, right?
Crush,
Nathalie Kelley.
Nathalie Kelley. I still watch some of her stuff now just because.
What has she been on? What has she been on?
Then you put me on the spot. That show, I think it's on like ABC. With the family, like the rich family. I forgot what it's called though.
Yeah, I can look her up, man. We could look up to see what she's doing nowadays.
But yeah, she was right there. There's some Netflix stuff, There's stuff in there.
Yeah. But
she was in a Bruno Mars video. I do know that.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, we're back.
We're back, guys. Take another drink. That's what we do when we fuck it up. Let's take another drink.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, my crush growing up, man.
She was captivating, man. When you saw her in that classroom first time, you're just like, whoa, like that. My eyes are fixed there.
Oh yeah, she was definitely the baddest in the room.
Yeah, for sure.
Scenes. And there were some beautiful women on there, but it was her accent too, because it was like, "You're not from here." We know it. You're not from here.
Oh my god.
That's
I mean, but that's DK's girl. DK, the drift
of course.
King.
This
DK
guy's always
son.
getting in trouble for girls, dude. That's the moral of the story. Is like this guy can't not. He has to mess with somebody's girlfriend.
Yeah, and then Twinkie takes him over to the drifting race, which is
I think the best scene.
Sequence.
I think the best scene of the whole movie to me is when they're driving into the garage, and you just see like you got the people playing the speakers, the girls getting out the whips. You got some races going on in the background, like you see the whole landscape, and then Bow Wow's character throws them the tissues, like when you blow your load or when you blow your wad, whatever he said.
Exactly.
But I think that was like the best way to like showcase. Again, it's really showcasing like to me underground street racing culture, and especially out there.
Listen, that's when like it like that's the money shot, right? Like it's the full pan. All the girls, all the cars, all the dudes just standing by the cars, and then the introduction of DK, right? Like DK is a badass. Now, again, I'm not a guy who typically roots for the bad guy, but I wanted to be fucking DK son bad. I was like, I want to be that fucking guy. I want to wear tank tops, have that haircut, and stand by my car.
The prettiest girl.
Yeah, I mean. And then he had that smug ass look, when he came up to him.
Man,
listen, that's what happens when
you think about it, because his uncle.
Oh yeah, Morimoto, the Yakuza.
The Yakuza.
But you know what? That was it. That was interesting to have the Yakuza in there. It kind of made Yakuza look like little bitches, but it was interesting that they incorporated that.
They're also high school kids. Like they feel old even now when you watch it. They feel older than high school, but they're in high school and But that scene though, I think that also was like the first time we see Sean like really feel like almost like he belongs in a place. Like you saw it on his face, like like he was in the candy store. He loves cars. You could tell early, even in the first race and stuff. Like that car, you could tell he put it together himself, and that's where I think he was getting in trouble, was like street racing and stuff. So like. This is the first time where he's like, maybe I could fit in here. So that's why like he's like super cocky, like I'll race. Of course, we just seen him race now. Like he was beating the other guy. He could beat this guy, right? Like this guy, little pretty boy. What do you call him? Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you, the Justin Timberlake of Tokyo?
Yeah, but you know what? I hated DK because he used that Yakuza like fucking backing to really be a bitch, like really be a badass, right? But he wasn't a high level guy. His uncle was just a Yakuza, and that's it. Which I want to talk about his uncle, and I didn't know this until I sort of did the research, because his uncle is Sonny Chiba. The fucking I don't know if you know Sonny Chiba.
No.
This guy's a fucking martial arts legend. He was in Kill Bill. He's got a series called The Street Fighter, and there's like a series of 4 movies. I got them all on DVD. I love this guy. I thought he was fucking amazing. I didn't realize it was him until I did the research for this movie. I'm like, oh shit, Sonny Chiba's in this movie, and that should have been appreciated by martial arts people for sure. But again, he wasn't doing any martial arts.
He didn't do anything really, but talk.
No, he just kind of sat there.
Yeah, I think I agree that the Yakuza part was kind of like it was handled a little not poorly, but it was just a side thing. Like that's kind of how the last race got established. You know what I mean? Like that you throw through the Yakuza, this is how it's gonna end, whatnot. But I think if you rewrite this movie, like that's a good part to like him trying to like climb up the ranks. They never really established like how they get the money, like besides Han. Like obviously Han like was doing business with him, but they didn't say like how they were getting the money or like it wasn't like the first Fast and the Furious where they're like jacking trucks and selling them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think like there was like a little bit more we could have got. Well, my one critique of it was kind of short. Like there was a lot of like things they cut like really fast through that I think would have been super dope if this was like a 2.5 hour movie and you can actually like really dive into the world. I think you could add more dialogue to like him and the Yakuza, because I agree with you. Like it did kind of seem like out of nowhere too. Like it wasn't established early on. I don't think.
Right.
I think maybe Bow Wow might have said it once. Like, but it wasn't like nothing crazy. It was just like, yo, chill out. Like, know who you're messing with, type of thing.
And you know, Bow Wow again, he could have been like the narrator of what's happening, and he was to an extent.
Yeah.
But he really could have gotten into like, dude, the dude is Yakuza. He's highly connected. He runs numbers. He runs whatever the fuck he's doing. But but it's more like just it's a scene in passing, and if you aren't paying attention, again, second viewing, you get it. Like you go, oh, okay, now you know he says it. But in first watch, you're just like, I thought Bow Wow was bullshit. Like, you know how somebody says, oh, such and such is connected, and then that's, you know, you dismiss it. But yeah, he was totally connected, man. Takashi, the Drift King. Fucking best name of a
and he, I mean, for the skill level of drifting, like he was nice with it. Like the scenes he was like driving like super smooth. Like the actor did good, like portraying it like confidently, but like he got cocky when he kept crashing. I mean, because like this first race, what got me hooked. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you see how good DK is and how much Sean has to learn if he wants to ever beat this guy. And it's like he's crashing into the wall. I mean, Han just gives him the car, which I thought was like a hilarious line. DK's like, "What are you gonna race me with, your skateboard?" And then Han just throws him the keys, like, "You gonna take my shit?" And which was dope because you can see like they had like a connection. Like he said, I mean, he's like, "I just want to see what the kids got." Like that just shows Han's character, and like obviously we learn after, like, you know, he has like a lot more in his past than it meets the eye. So I feel like he saw like a little like Vin Diesel and Sean over here. He was like, "Yo, go ahead."
I would have bitch slapped Sean if I was Han. I would have bitch slapped him when after he returns my car like that. I would have been pummeling the guy.
I think it was more gangster what he said. He said, "Don't leave town," and just walked away, threw something in his mouth, because the whole whole movie is just eating, just munching on stuff. Probably had like I don't know if they established, but he probably had like a cigarette like habit or something, like he's trying to kick.
That became like the signature move for Han in all movies. Han's got to eat something. Han is eating. What is he eating? Who the fuck knows? But
to me, Han's the coolest character in the whole movie.
Oh, he is.
Easily. Like he's the Miyagi to Sean. He's teaching him the ways. He has the money, like the swagger. He's like carrying himself. Like you could tell. And again, this is like upon watching all the other movies and like learning his backstory. But like you could tell he's a guy that's been through this already. And he's just chill. I kind of thought it was out of character, like what they did to him at the end, and we'll probably get to that later. But
yeah,
Han to me was definitely by far my favorite character. And he had the RX-7, which when this movie came out, so my first car, me and my dad, like I paid for the parts and he built it. But like that was like our little thing. And he had a RX-7 just chilling. He still has it to this day. He finally painted it. And it's like he painted it a while ago, but it's just like his baby. Like he's never let it go. But originally it was supposed to be my car, and I wanted it because of this movie. I was like, I want the RX-7 because I saw this movie and it was like, yo, Han's RX-7 was the cleanest thing to me back in the day. I was like, yo, I need this. The Veal Slide RX-7.
Jeez. I mean, I thought like those cars just look fucking amazing. Like I wanted them so bad. So, which brings us to one of the points that I wanted to make in today's podcast, which is, like I said, the cars are an actual character. They're an actual part of this movie. And so, you know, first of all, you've got who drove this one? If this is the Nissan Silva S15, the Mona Lisa.
That's the car that Han gave it to him to use to race the first one.
Okay. That's
and remember,
the first one.
That's when like Bow was like, you know Mona Lisa? Well, this is the Mona Lisa. This is where he was like kind of explaining to Sean, like, yo, this man put a lot of bread in this car. You mess it up, like these are not people you want. Like watching it back today, I was like, oh, he was like really giving a warning, like, yo, chill, like don't go crazy, you know. And Sean, I mean, obviously Sean showed in the first race he doesn't care, so like he was just going all out. But when you really think about it, like somebody's gonna be super careful when it comes to like actually trying to like, you know, like not hit these people's cars. That was one thing I thought about too. Like, what about all the other people's cars he hit throughout the race?
Oh shit!
Like he hit multiple cars and like bad. Like one bumper like fell off. Like people, he started bad.
He was fucking reckless. He was clanging and banging cars, and man, again, I'm surprised nobody shot this dude. I'm surprised nobody beat this dude up and pulled him out of the car.
Yo, on God, just beat his ass right after the race. Send him home
on site.
That would have been a scene where he's just like on the train, like going back home, beat the fuck up.
Exactly. Oh my God. Then you got the 2003 Nissan Fairlady Z, the Z33.
DK car.
DK, man, I wanted this car so bad. Oh my God. The closest I got to this fucking car was a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
I had one of those too. That was my first car.
I love, man. It was one of my first ones. Well, it wasn't my first car, but it was like my third car.
Yeah.
I used to rotate through cars because they were pieces of shit. But but yeah, man, the 2003 Nissan Fairlady, man, the DK. I mean, listen, man, I would argue there's probably not a better looking car in cinema. Like that shit was clean. That shit was
this
clean. Car? Yeah, no, I'm saying like it had everything I wanted at the time.
Oh, I was about to say the RX-7 kills this car. This car is nice though because of the detail. Like that's something which they never really highlighted, like how nice his car was, because it was always in the dark when we would see this car, so you wouldn't really see the detail like on the I don't know if it's like a painting or what, or just like line.
Oh yeah, like the decals and everything he's got on there. Yeah,
decals. That thing is clean though.
I think that what was missing was I think in the first one they would break down the engines and talk about what the engines had, and I think they talked about it here, but they didn't show it too much. But you knew this was a great freaking car.
Yeah.
Then you had the 1997 Mazda RX-7. Who drove this one? Was this Mila's car?
No,
this was Hans. Yeah, this was the one that he crashed and burned at the end.
Yo, come on. RIP to a real one.
RIP till he comes back.
That hurt me. No, he didn't come back. Did he?
Yeah.
No, that's when he died.
Oh, is that what that happened? I didn't realize that.
He died. Everything that happened beforehand.
Oh shit, my mind is blown. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
He died. That's why, remember at the end, Vin Diesel pulls up and he's like, we had a friend in common. He's talking about Han. That's why he pulled up, because he died. He's dead.
No. Not in this movie. I'm talking about in future installments. He came back. I know
I don't think he
died
came back from the dead.
No,
because remember that was the whole plot of the movie. Jason Statham was the one that killed him.
Right. Oh fuck.
He didn't come back. He was dead.
Good God.
This was Han's end of his life. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's why his character was so like radiant, because it was a guy who's already pretty much at the end of his game. I mean, he's at the end of his game, but he's at the top of his game at the same point. Like, he learned from all these heists that he did with them beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, like Han's character was already like built up, and this was like how it ended. This is how they tied everything, basically. It was like through Han's death.
Fucking, I'm ashamed to host
that's crazy. I'm telling you, this movie is crazy.
I'm ashamed to host a movie podcast. Not knowing these things. Then you got the 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. I think this is the car that that Sean builds. It's his dad's car. I think he builds it in Tokyo, and he does it to the drift specifications.
So for me, right, like, because Han gives him the Lancer, which I think you got on the next slide, but I wanted him to have, like, I mean, I get it because it bonds him and his dad. You know, like that's his pop's car, and he put the motor in from his car, whatever. And also, he's American, and that's what he started. And so it's like playing homage to, like, you know, Fast and Furious with Vin Diesel's like whip, like there's a tuner and an American, you know. But to me, it's like he should have had this early on, like started winning some races. You know what I mean? but realize like maybe I need a sleeker car and then like get something like not the Lancer. I don't know if the Lancer's better than this per se, but just he could have did something crazy. He could have had a Skyline. He could have pulled the Skyline out, and
That's true.
it would have been crazy with that. So it's like I don't know. I just felt like it was like a homage. I was like, it's a nice car though. It looks beautiful. And at the end, he has it in the garage, so it's dope. But
yeah,
I would have did it a different way.
But listen, shameful admission, and I don't know how you feel about cars. I fucking hate Ford Mustangs. I hate Mustangs. I can't stand them. Only because living in Miami, every little Cubano guy that I knew had a fucking Mustang 5.0 and with the rag top, and I just couldn't stand Mustangs.
Yeah. I'm not into American cars. I honestly really only like Hondas for the most part, and like a couple like other things because like I've had a lot of Hondas in my life. I'm like super into them, but American cars like Mustangs and stuff like that, they don't do it for me. Like I don't like the square body. I like the slender. Even like the newer cars, I don't like too much. Like how like they're all starting to look the same. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. They're all. I mean, they're trying to copy each other, emulate the popular model. But yeah, if you're asking me, would I pick this car? No. I would pick any other car outside the Ford Mustang. But
it would have been hard if Han didn't blow up his freaking car if he would have used the car to win.
For sure. Yeah. Then you got the 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. This is the red car, right?
That was one of my favorite scenes when they had the Jules Santana pop, "Hey girl," and you had the whistle song in the back, and then he's like, "It's yours. You're gonna have it." He's like, "Oh shit!" And then you go straight to the training montage of him messing it up.
Well, he's fucking it up, and you're just like, "Come on, man!"
He's like, "That's your fourth set today, or whatever." You're just going through tires. Because you gotta think like these guys are just burning rubber the whole time. It's not like you're just street racing. You know what I mean? Like street racing, your tires are gonna go, but they're not gonna go as fast as drifting for sure. So you're just like practicing and burning them.
I like the realistic angle of that. Like he's just not riding the car and like
just driving back and forth.
Yeah, everything is fine. Like, you gotta get fucking new tires. You gotta do like that was cool because it's like, oh shit, like you burned up tires. It makes sense. And it brings realism to the car. And the cars are real, obviously, but I'm just saying, like in some movies, like you question, like, how the fuck did they do that? Like a car does a crazy ass jump, it lands on its fucking nose, and it's still driving like it's perfect, right? But in this one, they showed you some of the realness that happens to the car, which is great. Then this one is the 2002 Nissan Fairlady Z, the Z33. This is the uncle's car. This is Uncle Morimoto's car, isn't it?
No, this is the kid, his homie's car.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the blonde
guy. My favorite line in the movie is when they were on the rooftop of the school, and he started beating up Bow Wow because he's like, "That's for selling me broken iPod though." He's like, "Come on, man, you broke it."
iPod though.
Yeah, he said, I swear that's exactly. He's like, "That's for selling me broken iPod though." Oh, it was. And he's like, "Come on, man, you broke it."
Oh yeah, and didn't he die in the movie?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think he died.
He was annoying to me, so
he totally was. He was fucking annoying. He's like that over the top villain guy. You're like, please just fucking die. Like die now, so that we.
They could have made DK something like that, which I'm glad they had. Like his henchmen be like that. Like he was super arrogant. Obviously, he feels plugged in because of DK. You know what I mean? He's got a nice whip. He probably races pretty well. He lost to Sean in like when Sean had the montage. Which another thing I wish they did. I just wish it was a little longer because there was more things they could have done. But the races when Sean was getting good, I wish were like there was at least one, maybe two, and then do the like montage after, but like of him like getting better, but still like having to learn because the montage was just him washing people at one point while he's learning, So it's like they did it for time, but I think if you would have gave us like at least one more race and then the montage would have been fire. Like if you would have raced the homie and beat him, but it was like a close race. Like, oh, he's getting better now.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. So, like, I think Paul Walker went through that in the first one where he was losing a couple of rounds. Like, I think he started off losing and he kept losing.
The classic. You ain't even have your ride. You ain't even have your car.
You didn't have your car. Family.
Family. Oh.
Oh man, I can't wait to get to those too, man. That's gonna be fun. So again, in this movie, like I said, the cars.
Look at that. Just mashing them.
He just mashes the cars. Like seriously, like that's, and he's got to answer to Han for that.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean Han showing up with that car, man, is just like next level right there, man. Like look at this. I mean, the guy just stands out in the scene with his car, man.
Everything's black and white. Even the car in the back, black and white. They're all uniformed, and then you got this. And black and orange is my favorite, like color combo. So
yeah, no, for sure, man. But again, Han takes him under his wing. Teaches him the ropes a little bit. Shows him, fronts the car, fronts the money, and you see the relationship there. Oh my God, when he beats up the Lancer against
oh my God, that's what I'm saying. Like he's just mashing through this.
But it was great to see the progression, right? Like of him
the chase scene.
Yeah, there's a bunch of chase
scenes. This is great.
Yeah,
just watching it back, I'm remembering things. We're already an hour in. I could go another hour easy.
Yeah, no, as I say, like the recaps of these things are it's so much fun to research and to watch and to get back into it. And again, reminds us why we love these movies and why it's so much fun to have discussions about them, because it stirs up so many memories of different things that happened. So now again, him and Neela are getting a little bit more acquainted, and the love story I think is good.
I think it was good. I was like, because they're too out of, like, they're not really from there. I mean, we find out about her mom, like she was basically a woman going around just probably sleeping with like rich men, making money however she makes it, and kind of like an orphan almost. And I guess DK-san and his family took her in, so that's how they got close. But I like their connection. I really enjoyed like this date, and then I think you got the clip, but the drifting scene. I liked it for like the love story aspect. I like to me, like, these kids are probably just all going out there just to hang out and talk, like exactly how they're doing. They're not really worried about being the fastest. You know what I mean? They're just drifting the mountain because that's part of their day-to-day culture, their day-to-day routine. Like, this is where we hang out. And you can see like that again. The best thing about this movie is like how they make you feel like, oh, this is really these kids' lives. Like they love this. And I think that's what Fast and the Furious lost when it came to the car aspect. Yeah, like even her, she's driving a Mazda RX-8, which my pops had one of those. I was like, oh my God, thing's so sick.
But like they're just taking the curves and the corners, and she's just having a conversation, which again to me, I think in looking at it encapsulates the movie. Like what she's saying about the love of drifting and like separating yourself and doing an escape. That's exactly what he needed to hear. And it's why she drives, and it's it takes her out. But it's great. It's a great scene to just see the culture and to see how they do it. And it's and honestly, it wasn't played for effects. My understanding is that these are real cars doing the drifting. With the exception of the interior shots of them talking. But it's effortless. It almost looks effortless, and it's like not like loud and like in your face. It's just like a smooth thing. I loved it. I loved this scene. It just, it was just amazing to see. And then the cars, right? They feature all the cars. And the fact that they're that close drifting together, like that's fucking insane. Like, how do you do that?
That's years of going up there, you know what I mean? Like she said, even before we can drive, we would come up here and watch all the older kids do it. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and another big thing that I enjoy about like Japanese culture is just like they stick to, they really like keep their culture alive, like they're super into that. So like, again, it showcases that super well. But yeah, even like just watching that right there too, it also like humanizes Sean the best in a lot of ways, because you like really hear his motivation. Like that was his way, like he was getting in trouble for racing and stuff, but that was his way of escaping, like almost like the parallels of her going up to the mountains and them escaping from whatever they're going through, and watching. You know, they fell in love with the same thing, doing different in different circumstances, and like, so it kind of gave like good character. Because when you think about it, it's like you have the, like the family stuff, you see the relationship between the father, but it's really him and the cars. Like that's like what they focus on the most, and that to me that humanizes them a little bit better. So yeah, that was a beautiful scene.
It was amazing, and like I said, it gave you that break in the movie where you just understand it, and again, it was just so much fun to watch and just to see. And again, it wasn't played loud; it was just nice and easy and smooth. And I think I forgot what song was playing, but I heard that song was a banger too. So like, song in the background playing while they're talking. Which, you know, I want to look up the soundtrack after we finish recapping the movie, because I really want to see some of the songs that were in that thing. But, you know, again, they're developing their relationship. They're kind of, you know, having some trouble with DK.
Yeah, the tensions rise because DK finds out about the date.
Exactly. I mean, DK's not one to be fucked with, man. Like,
but like when you think about it, people respect him, obviously, because like he just walked up, snuffed them. Like, you think. You think somebody's gonna walk up to Blackout and just snuff one of us and nothing's gonna happen? Like, I don't care who it is. Like, what? Even if we know them, like, and we're doing business, like, yo, you gotta chill out, brother.
Listen, after this movie, exactly. After this movie, I went through a DK tank top phase. I was wearing tank tops everywhere, man.
You were brolic too.
I'm walking around in tank tops, driving with my one arm on the steering wheel. Again, I got a family fucking car, but anyway, I'm still one-handed. I wasn't drifting, but you know, again,
ass.
I was shaking my ass. Now we meet the uncle, right? Yep. I did talk about how Sonny Chiba is a legend in martial arts cinema. If any of you have ever heard of Sonny Chiba or have seen the Street Fighter series that he has or any of his movies, check him out. He's fucking crazy. He's a crazy dude in all those movies. A lot of 70s movies where he was, you know, up there competing with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. So the guy's a fucking legend. I think bit part in here. I don't think he was that huge in the movie. And if had I known it was him at the time, I probably would have respected it more. Or I would have thought it was better. But now you got a falling out between DK and Han, because they're at each other's wits, and Han is eating again in the scene.
Yeah. They imply that DK was basically stealing from Han. I mean, no, the other way around. Han
was skimming, like, right?
Yeah.
And so that starts the tension there. I don't think he was, or maybe he was.
I think he was.
Han was after for himself.
Yeah.
So it's plausible that he was skimming off.
I think he admitted to it. It was like he had the great line that we gangsters, this is what we do. Like, I thought, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but then they got the chase sequence.
Was crazy. The chase sequence, obviously. But you see what I'm saying? It's like he went from. I mean, they gave us the training montage, but like from the training montage to this, like there's two different like drifters. You know what I mean? Like I wish we got a couple race scenes in between. Like really showcase like how good he is. But then again, this scene does do that. Like they're going through the city, which I mean, like the intensity, my adrenaline was pumping the first time. I remember like my dad's reaction watching, like, yo, this is crazy because they're just drifting through the city. There's gunshots, like, yo, this scene was amazing.
Yeah. I wonder what the runtime was on this movie, because it seems like a short
30.
movie. Yeah, it's hour and 44. Hour and 44. But still, it felt like they could have done a whole lot more, for sure.
A whole lot more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, even a 2 hour movie, 2 hour, 10-minute movie, like you could get a lot more story in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to cover. And again, you could have explored the Yakuza a little bit more if that's what you're going to do. But he could have gotten another race, which would have been awesome, another set piece race. But this is, I think, where the henchman dies.
Yeah. Or they just never show him again.
I think the car blows up, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Han's car is the only one that blows up. But he kind of looks, he kind of has like he's dead.
Yeah, he's a dead man.
No.
But again, DK is menacing, and we have these issues, and Han right there gets it. Han just gets it in this scene. He blows up.
I teared up. I'm not gonna lie.
It was sad. It was sad to see because he was that guiding the master, right, in an apprentice type role. But again, and this was interesting, and it was kind of out of character. There's a scene where DK confronts Lucas Black's character, and his dad shows up. They're pointing guns at each other. It seemed a little off. It was like, hey, welcome. It just didn't seem like it seemed convenient, like a plot armor. Like, oh, like DK had him dead to rights, but
no, but they showed the scene where they like go through the trains and stuff beforehand. So he just probably followed them to the pop's house, but he was trying to get to the dad's crib. You know what I'm saying? Because like for the most part, I'm pretty sure nobody, like especially when he moved out, because he moved to Han's garage. But so probably nobody really knew, or he thought nobody knew about where his pop stays. So that's probably he's trying to lay low. At least that's how I took it, and that's why he was there. Yeah.
No.
Plus the cops raided Han's place, so he doesn't have a place to stay.
Oh, that's true.
Especially after that.
True. Yeah, I mean, but again, the movie it progresses pretty quick from this point. Like at this point,
it goes really fast.
Right, and then she gives herself up, and she says, "Look, I'll go with him. Just leave him alone." And you have a rekindling moment between Lucas and his dad, and so it's funny. I call them by their actor names and then by their character names. Sean Boswell. And his dad reunite here and have a little bit of a moment. But he tells him he's got to leave again. So now he's on his own. And then Bow Wow comes up with some money. And they pay off the Yakuza for one more race. I think that's what they set up, right?
Yeah, loser leaves town.
Yeah,
which I wish I always wanted to see like a continuation of this story. And I think like talking to it with you about the movie, I feel like honestly, when you think about it, if they wouldn't have made this movie with the thought that it was like ending the franchise and would have made it with like how they connect everything now, even how they try to reconnect this movie and like them bringing Han in, you know what I mean? Like they made this movie canon with that. And
yeah,
I feel like if they would have went in knowing, they would have made the Yakuza a little bit more of like a villain that we could see in like Fast 10, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you remember like there was beef here. And now, so like I think they missed out on a chance to like really incorporate the Tokyo side of it, or even like go back. They never really visited it again, but I feel like it would have been cool to see like DK again and like like however it progressed from after this.
Yeah, I mean the Yakuza could have been the big bad for a couple of movies moving forward, or revisit them as the guys that are trying to get revenge on their crew. Yeah, they could have been used as a better. And now again, they did find other bad guys like Jason Statham and other like UK type bad guys, but they missed an opportunity. But you're right. I don't think they had any intention to make it canon until later on, and they felt like we can bring it back. What I'm wondering, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but I'm wondering how the Vin Diesel cameo at the end even came to pass.
I forgot. I definitely heard the story because I've done research on this movie, but I'm pretty sure it was like at the very end where like people were talking about him like coming back, and I forgot that they just came up with a deal like last second to put him in, but I forgot how it played out. I would actually have to look that up. But I knew it was like, I know for sure it was like towards the end of like the production. It was like, oh shit, maybe we could just tie it in.
Yeah, I think he got a lot of money for it. I think there was a time, and I read this about Vin Diesel. There was a time when he was pretty full of himself and made comments like, Vin Diesel makes Vin Diesel movies. Like he fucking talks about himself in the third person. He was commanding huge paychecks, and he still does. Yeah. But at the time he was blowing up, like he he really thought he should have been better respected or getting more money, and he was like all about himself. Which again, I don't blame him for being that way, but you miss out on like franchising opportunities and things like that when you fucking are difficult. You know, like
but do you? Because like he still gets. I mean, think about it. He's Groot. Like I'm pretty sure he's done very minimal audio for that part and gets paid every time.
Listen,
and I think that's why they had beef with The Rock. Like I heard him and The Rock had beef like because of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh no, because The Rock came in and jolted the movies into, you know, a little bit more, you know, earnings, but they're Vin Diesel's movies. But you're dealing with egos, and so, but I want to now that you mentioned fucking the Groot thing, I get so pissed that Vin Diesel makes so much fucking money for saying 3 lines.
I mean, you can't,
I am Groot.
That's fire.
But I'm just jealous. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just jealous that he gets to just go, I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. He fucking sits in the studio and he goes, I am Groot. And fucking makes, I don't know how many millions of dollars. And then I watched Iron Giant, which I don't know if you know, that's Vin Diesel also. He's the Iron Giant. Minimal like talking, but fucking he's the Iron Giant. And it's like, I hate you, Vin Diesel, but I hate you because it's so it seems effortless and it seems easy, but I'm sure he worked at his craft. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just jealous, man. I wish I could sit around.
He worked his way to get that money for minimal lines.
Exactly. Now, his best movie role, acting wise, Saving Private Ryan. I don't know if you know he's in that movie. Well, when he starred in it, or not even starred in it, but when he was part of that movie, no one knew it was him. Like, no, he wasn't Vin Diesel at the time. He was just an actor. But if you watch it back, I watched all these reactors who watched the Saving Private Ryan. They're like, it's fucking Vin Diesel. Oh my God, Vin Diesel's in this movie. I'm like, guys, he has a bit part. Like, relax. He's not around that long in this movie. I just found the soundtrack too. Oh, I can't wait to get to that part. Let's keep going through the movie recap here. So, you know, he's preparing for the showdown and they're on the mountain and they're going back and forth. And it's just, this is pure, just movie making artistry. Like, this is edge of your seat, cliffhanger type shit. They're banging each other. They're doing all kinds of shit. It's great. It's just a great sequence.
It was, I mean, obviously it wasn't in a controlled environment because of the mountains. And now having lived in the mountains and actually experiencing what they're like, that would be crazy. Like, if I would have known the experience of driving in the mountains when I watched that, my mind would have been blown. Because like it was at first, but it wasn't like, wow, they're just, you know, to me it was just like, they literally just showed all these kids driving down the mountain like smoothly, that same mountain. Now he's like, this mountain's so dangerous. Obviously, in a race, it's different because you're going faster. You're trying to win the race. The other guy's trying to run the race. I mean, they showcase like what can happen when DK falls off the mountain and rolls down. Yeah, like, I'm surprised he didn't die from that either.
Exactly. Listen, man, I drove to Tennessee, and when I tell you I drove at like 20 miles an hour around those small little mountain roads, I couldn't imagine fucking drifting a car.
Yeah.
If any kind of speed on a mountain road, it's fucking terrifying. And you've driven through mountains now, right? Like, or you at least had the experience. Like, you're right. If I knew that as a kid or I knew that as younger watching this movie, I'd be like, whoa, these guys are fucking crazy. They're fucking crazy. But oh no. So
but they did a good way to showcase like the danger and like, I mean, even there, right there, that scene. It falls down. But one thing I hate about the movie is like how all these kids are watching it on their phones. They're at different points of the mountain, like watch, like what? Like how? What kind of technology are they using?
They got the live stream.
Yeah.
They didn't fucking have.
They got Twitch chat up.
Didn't they have the flip phones, and that's what they had. I don't even think the Razor came out at this point.
No.
So you had these shitty flip phones.
And everybody's like, oh my God, like how much of the race are you watching? They're only at
Exactly.
every curve, and like, how they not hit one of these people?
like those rally car videos that you see that the fucking guys take a curb and also they take out the whole crowd. Oh my god. Then you meet back up. Everything is again it's a happy ending.
He's DK son now.
Yeah, he's the new DK son. He's anointed and crowned the Drift King. And then we get this reveal, which was amazing. Vin Diesel showing up in his half shirt, and Dominic Toretto. So he gives you the signature look. Let's race, and it's fucking awesome. I
ain't gonna lie. When I first saw it, I mean, you got the Don Omar played in the back. It was a fire scene, but I honestly thought it was gonna be Paul Walker's character, but then you see the car and it's like, oh, it's not. It could have been either one, I think, but just because he's like Sean's like the pseudo Paul Walker character, like Brian. So it's like
right.
It would have made sense. But then I saw Toretto and I'm like, oh shit. I wish that we saw that race too. Like honestly, like that would have been sick if we saw him like actually know how to drift through and stuff and pull up and like, oh, it would have been hard.
Toretto just fucking killing it. That would have been great. Would have been great. So let's talk about the movie itself getting the critical review. In IMDb, it only has about 6 stars. I don't know what the Rotten Tomato score would have been or is for the movie.
I mean, that's good though. Like,
yeah. I mean, out of 10,
not bad. Yeah, because like I would put it for me personally like 7.5, maybe 8, because I really love the movie. But I think you can give it a 6.5, maybe 7, and be like, oh, that's all right. That's like pretty good.
No, it is good. It's actually pretty good. So, but again, out of all of the franchise movies, I think this one had the lowest rating. The box office wasn't that stellar, but again, in hindsight, you think about how this movie was received at the time, and you did significantly miss the 2 main characters. And it was the third movie. Again, the first movie got both guys. Second movie, you get Paul Walker. Great. You introduce Tyrese. Fun. I'm not a big Tyrese fan, but
his character in that movie was hilarious.
Roman is funny.
Yeah, Roman
but,
too. That's where he got the name from.
That's where he got the name from. No. Yeah, I don't mind his character, but Tyrese gets annoying as the movies kind of move along. But
yeah, that's because they kind of try to make him like the comic relief. Like they made him the butt of the jokes. When you go back, like he was kind of that, but he was more like a cooler character. Like he was like too cool for school kind of thing. Like he just got out of jail. Like they kind of like civilized him a lot just to fit like the punching bag role.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I always love to do this, and I do it on my movie reviews. We'll do it here. Well, let's talk about some trivia, and let's see if you know these fun facts, and then we'll wrap up with our final thoughts on the movie. It says here over 100 cars were destroyed or wrecked during the filming of this movie.
Makes sense. I mean, think about it. Like you said, it was practical. It wasn't CGI.
Yeah, I mean, you had to get those cars in there. It says here the drifting in the movie was performed by professional drivers.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's what we talked about. There was realism. It was not a lot of CGI.
I remember watching a clip that they brought all the actors to like a raceway and let them drift. I remember like watching each of them like learn how to drift and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that's fun when they get to do like the boot camp of learning how to drive the cars. I think in one of the movies, one of the actors didn't even have a driver's license. Not in Tokyo Drift, but I think in one of the other movies. And so like they're driving this expensive ass car, doing all kinds of tricks, and they don't have a license. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. That's insane. Oh, look, we talked about the tires.
Yeah.
It says here, Toyo Tires donated 4,000 tires for the movie. Oh my god! And then it says Ray's Engineering donated 170 Volk racing wheels as well. I mean, that's money, dude. That is money. That's just insane. It was filmed in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
which is which just sucks, man. That fucking sucks. I wanted it to be
I think that hinders it a lot.
if it's in Japan.
No, I think it hindered it. Just I look at it from like what I would have did with it. Like if I came up with this idea, like how I would want to do it, and I feel like the movie would have been better if they did it out there. I'm sure there's probably like, which is crazy. Like they really made it look like they were in the square, the Tokyo Square, or whatever that place is.
Oh yeah.
Like, that scene alone was crazy when they were drifting through all the people. Like I thought that. I mean, through that chase we were talking about it, but that scene was nuts. Obviously, they couldn't have really done that.
No. So it's the lowest grossing film in the series. So we talked about that. Like it just wasn't respected. It says the film takes place in 2013. So this is the whole Han being alive through the other movies, and this one coming into play later. This is the first Fast and Furious film to have a full opening credit sequence. Okay. I mean, this is just some interesting stuff, man. Is this Channing Tatum auditioned for the role in this movie?
I didn't remember hearing that.
What would you think if Channing Tatum was Sean Boswell? Would it have worked?
He'd play an idiot well.
He does play an idiot pretty fucking well. Let's see. Yeah, this is the first film in the series for director Justin Lin. I think he didn't he do the other sequels as well?
I think he did like 4 or something.
Yeah. I think he's done a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. And there's the whole sequence where Twinkie tries to sell Lucas the Jordans, and they made that reference that he was in that movie, like Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucking that's B shit. Anyway, so movie is, again, I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion of this movie is that, like I stated earlier, I think it was not appreciated for its time. I think because of the uncertainty of the franchise, no one knew this was going to be a fucking 10 movie franchise. They were just capitalizing on the popularity of the first 2. But they put a director who brought the vision back, brought the feels of the first one in terms of the streetcar culture back into the movie. So it's definitely rewatchable, and it's fun to watch. And I think it holds up. I think it holds up because it reminds you of the simpler times of the first couple of movies. So in my opinion, definitely rewatchable, underrated for sure, and not appreciated. What's your thoughts now as you are an older gentleman watching this movie?
The movie holds up every time I watch it, but I just think I have a lot of nostalgia to it. So like, to me, it's always going to hold up. Like, this is, again, one of my favorite movies ever. It just has like trying to be as unbiased as I can. I think it's definitely rewatchable in the Fast and Furious series, and I think it's better than some of the later stuff we've gotten, in terms of like what Fast and Furious was at the foundations. And you definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm sorry you're gonna get addicted to the theme song because it's super catchy. But yeah, wonderful movie, man.
Yeah, if it wasn't for copyright, I think I'd do more of the soundtrack in our discussion. But the minute I play music, I will definitely get pulled off of Spotify or even YouTube. But yeah, okay. So we gave people homework last time. That's the fucking homework. Go on Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Listen to the soundtrack, and you'll be instantly transported back to 2006 in that time. And some of those songs they still get you hype. If you're driving in the car, that's kind of like my thing. Is if there's a song like just killing it, I'll drive faster, and it's insane. Why you laugh, man?
Because
true.
It's so weird. I go fast. Yeah,
hey, man.
I go to the temple of the song.
Listen, I no shameful admissions. I'm always honest. If I hear a song that gets me hyped, like for example, the Mission Impossible Fallout song, I drive fucking fast to that song. If I hear a song from Fast and Furious that I remember was in the movie, like David Banner, right? Damn girls get down on the floor. Like if I hear that shit, I fucking punch it and I want to drive fast. But mind you, I'm driving a fucking family sedan. So like me punching it means I'm going 75. So
I always keep it cool. I'm just cruising. I have a concert, I'll sing. I'll sing it.
You're a car singer? Is that what you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not out loud, but I'll pretend I'm in a music video. Driving around, going smooth and stuff, seeing girls on the way. Hello.
Yeah, no, I have to like look out because I am a notorious car singer, and I sing loud in my car, and I forget.
I can see that.
So listen, I always like to poke fun at myself. In my cars, I play some crazy shit, like anything from hip hop, Wu-Tang, all that stuff to fucking Celine Dion, like that. I go through the whole gamut, right? But I forget that some of the cars that I drive are pretty thin, walled. Like it's not like it has like a buffer. You can actually hear what I'm listening to on the outside. So this one fucking time I pulled up and I was cranking Celine Dion's song, and I realized that the guy next to me was like, "The fuck." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I like turned it down like instantly.
You gotta sing louder, Llama. You can't turn it down. Turn down for what?
Anyway, so this was fun, man. This was a lot of fun. I'm excited to bring on more of the Blackout members to talk about Fast and Furious. I think the next time that we meet, we'll probably go over the first Fast and Furious, and we'll bring on some additional members along with Blackout AD. But yeah, guys, I mean, any parting shots, any final thoughts before we close out the podcast?
Thank you for having me on the new podcast. I'm excited. Obviously, go listen and watch us live every Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern. We do the Big Llama show on the channel. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. It was a good time. It was a different vibe than, we got about 70 something episodes in, nothing crazy, but this was a good change of pace for our dynamic. So hey,
for sure.
Keep listening
like I said,
to this guy's stuff, man.
Thank you. Guys, remember, like this show, this Be Kind Rewind podcast, again, the premise is friends coming together to talk about movies, the movies we love, the movies we hate. It doesn't matter. We just come together, have an adult drink, enjoy ourselves, and have a nice time. So I hope you guys had a great time tonight on the Be Kind Rewind podcast. Again, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. That's what we covered tonight. Be on the lookout for other podcasts. We've done Goodfellas so far. We've done The Departed. We're going to be doing the Fast and Furious, and hopefully coming soon, Harry Potter, as was outlined in our live stream. If you want to support the show, if you'd like to support the Be Kind Rewind podcast, make sure that you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Make sure you recommend us, and make sure you subscribe to those podcast outlets. If you want to support my main channel, which is on YouTube, it's under the Big Llama Show. We do first-time movie reactions. We do this Be Kind Rewind podcast, and we do our Sunday night live stream. Blackout AD and myself meet every single week talking to the fans about pop culture, about gaming, about UFC fighting, about movies, about everything. It's everything encapsulated under the sun. If you like to hear some of our podcasts, we're under the Big Llama Show podcast. We're also available in other formats. I'm giving you guys the plug for everything. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Be Kind Rewind podcast. We hope you come back for the next episode. He's Blackout AD. I'm the Big Llama. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And remember, Be Kind Rewind, guys. It's movie night. We're going to see you guys on the next one.
Majestic drama.
I never lose, baby. You're the one I keep as my heartbeat, baby. You're my metronome.